Hi there, I'm Tina and I'm part of Woolly Mammoth Stitchworks, and we're the ones that have bought you the Jewellery Quarter Poppies kit. It's a great project, and today I'm going to be going through how you get started, how you continue to stitch, and where you send your poppy to once you've finished. First of all, let's have a look what's in the kit. You will have received a needle. You would also have received a circular canvas, which is how we're going to stitch our poppy. Little needle threader, we'll talk about that in a minute. Some wool in the main body of the colour that you've chosen, and some black wool for the very centre of the design. You would also have got your instructions, which show you how to thread a needle, talk about everything about the project, and also when you lift it up you've got step by step. I'm going to be following those step by steps today, and we're going to go through it, and hopefully by looking at the instructions and following this guide you'll be able to stitch a fantastic poppy and send it back to us here in the Jewellery Quarter. Okay, I've cut a length of my main colour yarn. The best length to cut is measure from your fingertip to your elbow. Now I'm quite short, so I haven't really got a very large fingertip to elbow, but it doesn't matter, it just means that you thread the needle a few more times. Take your needle threader and fold it over. Open it up. We're using quite chunky wool, so this is quite a nice little tip really. Fold it over so that the wool is inside your folded piece of paper, and then thread through and pull. And there you go, your needle's threaded. It's a great tip if you're using larger yarn. Okay, let's have a look. Lovely, isn't it? If you take a look at this canvas, you'll see that these 4 holes all line up together, and we're going to use this to do the outside of our poppy. Push through, hold on to the back and hold on to the tail. We're not knotting or anything, just move the tail over and go up to the top. And then come back underneath, and can you see how the tail, I'm still holding the tail at the back, pull through and then into the top again, then down to the bottom and up to the top, and carry on doing this stitching all the way around, down to the bottom and up to the top. And let's have a look what's happened on the back. See how we've trapped the tail underneath our work. Carry on trapping that tail as you stitch. The back of the work, we're not going to see the back of the work on the final art piece, so it will look quite neat, it will look quite nice, it will look quite texturized actually, but we're not going to be seeing the back, so don't worry too much about what your back looks like. Stitch round and get yourself into a really nice rhythm. There's no rush. The great thing is when you're stitching for a project or stitching as a volunteer, is that you're giving your time, aren't you? And so it's really good, you know, to think about, you know, just as you're stitching, have a little think. Think about what's going on in the world, or think about how you're really enjoying the stitching. And carry on all the way round. Now, the length of yarn that you've cut, hopefully fingertip to elbow, will not go all the way. You know, we have this same piece of yarn all the way around to the other side of the canvas. Carry on stitching. So what you do is when you get to the end of your yarn, you know, when you've got a little bit left and you know you can stitch no more really, what you do is you turn your canvas over and you pull through like that, and then you snip off. Snip off as you're going along so that then pieces from the back, like the tails from the back, don't come through to the front. Okay, I'm going to carry on stitching round, and I'll come back and we'll take a look at what stitch we do next. Well, when we've stitched around the outside, it feels really nice, doesn't it? It's almost starting to look quite flower-like, isn't it? The next stitch that we're going to be doing into the next row of the canvas here, and we're going to be doing something called backstitch. So the way that I start backstitch, again, hold on to the tail. Remember, we're not going to be knotting or anything like that. And then see how I've got the tail behind the hole, push through and almost split through the wool. This is this art piece in the end, which will include all of your art piece poppies, it's going to be outside. So we need to be able to stitch these poppies onto a base. So don't worry too much about knotting and different things like that on the back. So come up through the next hole and then go back on yourself. Pull it through into the next hole and then back on yourself. Quite a nice rhythm with this stitch as well, isn't there? Like into the hole and back. Pull it through, into the hole, all the way through, and then back in. Stitch all the way round, and when you get to the other side, when you get back to here again, finish off exactly in the same way as you did for the larger stitches round. Weave your wool underneath. If you look on the back here, we've trapped the tail already. Stitch all the way around and finish off. Do a few more of these. And this is the same stitch that you're going to do for the next row and the row after that. But each time you get round to the edge, cut off so that you've got a nice neat sort of side to start stitching. Having finished the 3 rows of backstitch going around there, it's already starting to look a little bit poppy-ish, isn't it, really? It's really quite exciting. So now we're going to do the middle, and that's going to mean that we're going to need our black wool. Don't need lots of black wool for the middle. Take a look. And we're going to be doing backstitch exactly the same. The holes are quite big, aren't they? What you would have found when you've been doing these circles is this middle row is quite, the holes are quite small. So, but these holes now, we're getting into like the larger sort of bit of the country now, aren't we? Again, hold on to the back exactly the same way. Just because the holes are a lot bigger doesn't mean that we're not going to be doing our backstitch. Pull it through. Back in on yourself. I like to twist my poppy around as I'm stitching away. There we go. Stitch around. Starting to get to the middle now. Now there's different colours of poppies that you would have received. Red, white, purple or black. The instructions are the same no matter what colour that you've chosen. So the middle here is we're coming in and we're doing this in the black colour. So rather than finish off now, rather than turn it over, finish it off, I'm going to just go straight in to this middle here. I'm going to go round the middle in backstitch, exactly the same. We want to sort of build up the middle so that it shows a definite centre. And that's the same whether you've got purple, white, red or black. We want the middle to be quite dynamic, really. So now go from one side and then to the other. See how I'm doing it? It's almost like a big, huge cross stitch through the middle. And then up there like that and go across to the other side. And what you'll see is that you've still got like a little bit of a sort of, you can see a little bit of plastic there. Now I don't personally think that that matters. I think that everybody's poppy will be unique, but if you want to completely cover in the plastic there, go into this hole and then into there. This isn't in the main body of the instructions, but if you want to, go in if you can and stitch round so that you're completely filling in the black. Like I say, it isn't part of the pattern, but if you do want to have more of a definite black in the middle, then that will be great. So I'm stitching round, going in any hole I can really, and just adding a little bit of black here and there. See how it's building up. See there? Okay, I think that's going to be enough for me now. You can do a large cross across the middle if you want to, a bigger one again, but I'm happy with that. I think it's looking quite nice, isn't it? Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, finish off in exactly the same way. Pull through and cut off the back. Haven't got much left to do now. We're going to be looking at how we finish off around the edge by using Overstitch. And we're also going to be having a look at this little row here, which is optional. If you want to stitch that, you can. But next along, we'll be having a look at the outside. To start off our overstitch, we start on the back of the canvas. So all you do is weave your threaded needle through, pull through like that. That's just to start ourselves off so that we've anchored the thread. Turn over and go from the back to the front and pull through. Don't pull too hard because you don't really want the anchor coming out. And then come in this way and turn it around so you can see. And then what we're going to do is move the thread over and go into the next hole. Move the thread over, go into the next hole. Move the thread over and go into the next hole. Overstitch. It does what it says on the tin. Carry on all the way around. And it's giving us a really nice edge, isn't it, to the edge of the poppy there. It's making it a definite piece of art, really. And that's the exciting thing about taking part in this project, is that your beautiful piece of stitched art will be part of a larger piece, and this will be displayed in the jewellery quarter. Hopefully we'll all be able to come and have a look at it physically, but I know that there'll be an online event as well. Pulling through, see how you're going, take your time. This is how we're going to be finishing off our poppy. Move it round. All the way across. And when you get to the other side, when you get to here, and we're finishing it off in exactly the same way as you did for when you started. So you would come over like that, turn over, and then again weave underneath. So you've tracked the tail of your work, and we've got the tail there on the other side. Snip that off, continue all the way around so that you've got the edges done. Now earlier we looked at this row here. Now this row is there's already wool in that row. So you can backstitch around here if you want to, but you might find it a little bit tight. So if you find it a little bit tight and it's, you know, you really having to pull the thread through, don't worry about that row, because it's as brilliant to me if this row is left or if it's stitched, because each poppy is unique. Okay, well, thank you so much for following along. Here's my finished poppy. See, I haven't done that there. A little bit hard on my hands. So that's our finished poppy. Mine's pink, obviously. There won't be a pink one on the thing, but it's just to show you how to do the stitching. So thank you so much. We're really looking forward to receiving your poppies back. In your kit, you would have received an envelope that's addressed to Josie at JQ Cemeteries. If you send that back to her, then when you next see your piece of work, it will be part of a larger stitched artwork, and we're really enjoying receiving them back, and hopefully we'll see you in person when the big reveal happens. Thank you so much.